Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Taurus. If Taurus is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. All right. Let's see, what do these tea leaves have to say? And so, the card that I pulled for this reading tonight is the Tower card. And we know the Tower is, it's often about some kind of destructive force in our lives, right? Some kind of big, hectic, chaotic, crumbling event, okay? We don't always look forward to this card, do we? But the good thing about a Tower card is that it really is a situation where some kind of blockage is kind of being crushed up and released, pushed out. And so, although this can be traumatic, it can be, harrowing, it can be very abrupt and shocking. It is something that, life is all about, that change. Sometimes change is very swift. So, let's see what this is about. Okay, so let's see. Now, I'm seeing a large cup, okay? Something akin to the Ace of Cups, kind of that holy grail, right? That spiritual vessel. And I see here a person leaning down and touching it, okay? We also have, it looks like a child standing next to this person. And over here, we have a formation on the rim. This is more in that kind of spiritual, emotional area that looks kind of like, I would say, somebody kind of jumping around, exclaiming. And now I want to see if I can find out how I can. There we go. And that right where that light is, let's see. I'm trying to, okay, right in there. It looks like, it's almost like an exclamation. Okay, like they are singing, dancing, yelling, whatever. So I feel that there's kind of a vacillation between this more maternal kind of, having the child like holding on to the robe or the dress. And it almost looks like, and I want to try to see if I can show this to you the way that I'm looking at it. Let me see. This right here. And then as we turn it, I gotta keep this. And as we turn it, it looks like the person is holding a heart. And I don't know. Yeah, there we go. So, and I'm not gonna do it, but it's right in here. Oh, right in here. Okay. So it looks like they're holding a heart in their hand. Okay. So there's this great kind of maternal, feminine consciousness, a child holding on, kind of seeking guidance, shelter from that figure. This figure is touching that spiritual wealth, okay? And then on the other side, there is just this kind of madness, merriment. And I think that, looking at this, I think that there's been some maybe difficulties in figuring out how to balance the kind of blissful joys of life with the more domestic pursuits in life. Having a family, And now this doesn't necessarily mean you, but it could be somebody within your life that you are, maybe this is your partner, maybe this is somebody else, a sister, or you know, some kind of a friend possibly. And so there is this kind of an issue where this is a very emotional person, very creative person, probably very personable and lovely, but they do have a tendency to go into this kind of emotionally, spiritually foolish zone where they kind of, you know, maybe you know, lose touch with their normal routines. They maybe are unreliable, and that has caused some issues. Okay, so let's see, where else are we gonna go here? I have a cat. It looks like it's flying across the sky, and I have another it looks like a person holding a bird here. Okay, and well, it kind of looks like a person who is also flying, not unlike the cat. And they have a bird maybe on their back there, and you can see the bird here. So I have a lot of this feeling of kind of a dreamy movement. Okay, this. In the cat, I think of I think I'm thinking of the cow that crosses the moon or the sky, right? But also, what comes to mind is the owl and the pussycat in this. You know, they're getting married, and they go out to sea on this little boat, and you know, and so it's this kind of almost childlike, dreamy quality. I feel that you are quite an individual. You're very creative. You probably are often kind of detached from, you know, too many of the lower base emotional, or not emotional, but physical things. That's not to say you aren't, you know, involved in your mundane life. You probably work and maybe have a family, or you're you know, retired, and you have lots of things going on, of course. But I think that you do have a tendency to go into those creative spaces. Now, with this other situation arising, and I don't believe that this is necessarily a new thing. I think that this is an ongoing situation with this maybe family member. I mean, it could be you as well. I don't know. But whoever it is, I think that there has been that kind of tower moment. Something bigger happened. Okay? Something went wrong. Where I feel that you are kind of being asked to step up, lend some help of some kind, be of assistance to this person that you are maybe, it could be, you know, a spouse. Maybe you are taking over the majority of duties right now, while they kind of get into a more stable place. Or it could be that you were kind of, something happened, okay? Some mistake was made, an accident, something, okay? And you are really needing to kind of get grounded, okay? Come back down from the sky and, you know, get your feet firmly planted. So I think it could be either way. I'm not clearly seeing either, whichever it is, but I think that either way, it has felt pretty difficult for you. Again, I don't think that this is the first time. I don't know if this will be the last time, but I do think that it is not an easy task right now. Okay, I feel like there are a lot of emotions. It feels very dire in some ways, very kind of, I feel like there's an aspect of confrontation happening, arguing, and so, let's see. It feels heavy, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of sighing because it that, you know, I don't know. I've talked on here about my own addiction issues, and that I am in recovery almost for a decade now. And so I am all too familiar with the process of, you know, getting a little too involved in the drinking or the partying or whatever. And so, or being around people, because it is something, you know, something I had many friends who were also addicts. I come from a family that addiction is, you know, deeply woven into, like a lot of us are. And so I do understand the stress that comes with this. I'm also still in 12 steps. So I am around, you know, I encounter addicts constantly, and people who are fresh in recovery and going through, you know, legal things and child, you know, things with their having the ability to see their children and these kinds of things that happen. And it is heartbreaking. It's hard. But the good news is that if you work on it, if you, you know, can assist somebody else in, if somebody else is the person that's dealing with these issues, of course, if you can assist in some way where, you know, of course there are boundaries, it can be very rewarding and fulfilling. It can also be difficult. So I just want to also say, if you are not the person that's going through some kind of, you know, if it's mental health, if it is substance abuse, or whatever, some kind of crisis, if it is somebody in your life that you are helping, a good resource is Al-Anon. And I know people aren't really into 12-step all the time, but I think it's a really interesting, they have really interesting literature, and at least the beginning framework for somebody who maybe needs community, kinship, to be able to connect with people who know what they're going through. It can be very lonely. It can be very alienating to be somebody who is trying to help somebody that is, you know, having a difficult time with their mental health, with their addiction, and so on. So that is just one resource, and I feel like, you know, I would be, it would be wrong of me not to at least mention it, right? And there are other support groups on the internet. Another thing I mention often on here is the anonymity of Reddit. If you can set up a profile that is pretty anonymous, that is a good place to go find subreddits that have people who are discussing things that they are going through. Just, you know, limit your personal information. You do not want to dox yourself. Okay, so we also have a turtle here. Okay, so this to me is all about going slowly, taking your time, one day at a time, one step at a time. Okay, it doesn't all come at once. And, you know, those first stages are difficult, and then it feels like you've achieved a lot, but don't, you know, don't get sucked into falling right back into it, because that's what happens often. That's, you know, what happened to me constantly for many years. I would get a little bit of, you know, relief from the chaos of my life, be starting to build something to, you know, just even decompressing a little bit, figuring things out, and then I would slip right back in because I was too confident and not ready. And so this is, this is a thing that takes time. It takes time. And I even see, it looks like somebody kind of crawling on there, I mean, just really going slowly. This is an interesting one. Now, this one looks like a mountain. It looks like it has like maybe a little ashram there. But also I see right here, and I want to see if I can get you right there. It looks like a face, an eye, a nose, and the lips right above this beautiful mountain. So what this tells me, and well, okay, let me finish here. We also have, it looks like almost the hermit or some kind of mountain climber, okay, and kind of going up the mountain and crossing over. And the face to me says this is all about connecting with nature, being grounded. Take your shoes off, get in the, go walk on the grass, get your hands in the dirt, go sit outside for a while when you are starting to feel anxiety arise in you. And I know it sounds like, okay, this lady, she doesn't, this is BS, right? Go sit outside, breathe. But I'm telling you what, because I'm a stay-at-home parent mostly, that's mostly my job. Not my only job, but mostly my job. And when the day has gotten hectic and I have a million things to do inside, the best reprieve is getting my kid, and we go outside and we run around, we work in the yard, we breathe, we sit, we talk, we laugh, we play, all these things. It changes my whole mood. Even when I have to just go out by myself, my daughter's with my husband. Shout out to Dove and Serpent Tarot, a most wonderful tarot reader. Go check him out if you don't already know him. His name is Paul. He'll be watching her, hanging out with her, and I go outside and I just sit for a little bit. I watch the birds. I do a little walk around the neighborhood, and I just get that, I shake that anxiety out of me, that anger, that, just kind of static ball of like, in my chest. And, I commune, right? And that's what it is. It's just the little things that we can do to help get ourselves back down from that high energy where, it just feels chaotic. It feels like the world is pulling us in a million ways. It's overwhelming. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is your sleep health. Okay. Getting a good amount of sleep if you possibly can, if that is something that you are able to achieve. Okay, making sure that you have a routine, having a set bedtime, trying as best you can to abide that, turning off the technology a little bit earlier. Maybe you read a book, you put on the thing that's been really a lifesaver for me is the white noise machine. I didn't think I was going to like that thing, but honestly, it really helps so much. And the one I have was fairly cheap, like $20. So definitely something to think about, especially if you have, sleep troubles. So, winding down, getting in bed, being comfy, making sure that it's as dark as you can get it in there, and going to sleep, letting yourself rest, getting into those deep places of REM sleep, and the restorative sleep is so important, and I know when things are going wrong, when you are feeling, it's topsy-turvy, You're having your own problems. You're helping somebody else with their problems. You're depleted. You're emotional. You know, it's painful. There's a lot of pain around these kinds of things. It can be hard to have solid sleep. There's a lot of waking up and tossing and turning. Can't go to sleep. Can't stay asleep. So, you know, just try to be kind to yourself. And even if that routine doesn't work the first couple of times, stick to it. Okay, that's the big thing, consistency. And it's amazing what getting your mind kind of programmed into knowing what it's supposed to do, and your body will follow. And after some time, you'll find yourself, it'll be easier and easier. And when you have continuous bouts of good sleep, you start to feel better. I'll tell you what, I was a mess when my daughter was young. It's so important for me to get solid sleep. And when my daughter was, you know, a newborn, of course, you don't sleep a lot, or your sleep is very broken up. And it was hard. It was hard. It was hard. I felt not myself for quite a while, and because of the sleep especially. And once I could get back onto a schedule, that was like number one, getting my daughter into, you know, once she was about one years old, getting into all of us a bedtime, a routine and all of that. And now she's really amazing about going to bed, because she's always had like a pretty firm, or pretty solid routine. So hopefully, you know, that's something that you can think about and work on. Okay, so here we have a person reaching up. They're wearing a little crown. And to me, there is a beautiful fire going on over here. Okay, and to me that says there is a lot of room for victory here. Not all is lost. You know what you're doing, and you will figure it out. You just have to keep going, right? Find that confidence, find that footing. Listen to yourself. You're a very intuitive being. You have the answers. It's just about honoring what you know, that wisdom that you have. Going by what, you know, not choosing against yourself. Okay. Now let's see. We have a little heart here. Okay, and it looks like in the next maybe 2 weeks or so, I feel like there's going to be a lot of progress happening, okay? It might be a little bit broken up. After you get some momentum, there might be a little stumbling. But do not be deterred, okay? We have 1, 2. You have a lot of heart for this. You have a lot of resolve, okay? I believe in you. I do. You got this. All right. I'm going to thank you so much for spending this time with me. I am always so honored to be able to bring you these messages. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm. And we are growing this channel, all of us here together as a community. I just can't believe how wonderful so many of you are. Getting to know you in the comments. And so if you haven't subscribed, think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. We're on a schedule where I read every sign once a week. And so in about 7 days, the next Taurus will come out. In between now and then, you can watch your other placements. And other than that, leave a comment. Let me know how you're doing, okay? I read all of the comments. I try to get back to them really quickly. Sometimes it takes me a day or so, just depending on what's going on. So anyways, I want to thank you, and we will talk again very soon, Taurus.